Next, we have the Atlanta Falcons at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Both teams' playoff hopes are completely gone. So this is really just a pride matchup. They are still division rivals. The game is being played in Tampa Bay. I see Atlanta finally finding a way to win another game. When you look at the matchups down the basically down the middle, I believe that Matt Ryan is still a better quarterback than Mike Glennon. I believe that Steven Jackson and Jacquizz Rodgers can do a more effective job than the running game that Tampa Bay is bringing to the table. They lost rookie Mike James, who was doing a great job last week due to injury. And I still think that Atlanta has a slightly better receiving core with Tony Gonzalez and Harry Douglas. Although I will say maybe it's I have to give the slight edge, to Tampa Bay. I think Vincent Jackson, Taquan Underwood have a little bit of an edge right now. I also like rookie Tim Wright. But I think that in the end, Atlanta will find a way to win this game. They have a little bit more veteran leadership, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Tampa win either. I think this is a game that, again, goes down to the wire, but I'm taking Atlanta 23-20. Next, we have the Arizona Cardinals at the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jacksonville was able to get their first win last week at home. They're at home again, so we'll see. Arizona has been a Jekyll and Hyde team this season, and particularly not playing well on the road. So we'll see if Jacksonville is able to carry over some momentum. Obviously, getting turnovers would help. That helped them last week, 2 big turnovers. They helped them win that game. They also need to get consistent running from Maurice Jones-Drew. And Chad Henne has to be accurate in the passing game. It really hurt when Justin Blackmon left, but he still has Cecil Shorts and Mike Brown. But I think that Arizona's defense plays particularly well. They play much better at home, but overall, a lot of playmakers. I like Darnell Dockett. I like Dan Williams. I like Calais Campbell on that front line providing pressure. I really like Pro Bowler Darrell Washington. Carlos Dansby's another veteran. And I like Patrick Peterson and Kerry Rhodes in the secondary. I think that with some effective running between Rashard Mendenhall and Andre Ellington, if Carson Palmer can limit turnovers and get the ball to Larry Fitzgerald and some of his other options in the passing game, this is a game that I would expect Arizona to win. I'm taking the Cards 24-17. Next, we have the Oakland Raiders at the Houston Texans. I think this should be a feel-good rebound game for the Texans after losing some tough ones at home to Indianapolis, losing last week on the road in Arizona. I think the Texans will find a way to rebound. Oakland will be without quarterback Terrell Pryor, who went down with an injury, so they'll be with the backup. Darren McFadden is not back yet, so the Raiders really don't have a lot of explosion on offense, and I don't think their defense will be able to hold up too well. I expect for J.J. Watt and company to get after the Raiders early and often, and I don't see the Texans letting this one slip away. I expect for Ben Tate to be effective on the ground, and Andre Johnson should have a big day through the air. I'm quite sure Case Keenum will be looking for him early and often. Next, we have the San Diego Chargers at the Miami Dolphins. This should be an interesting game. The Chargers are reeling right now after consecutive losses on the road to Washington and Denver. They're on the road again at Miami. Miami's coming off an embarrassing loss last week at Tampa Bay. They still have a lot of the side effects of this whole Richie Incognito shamble that's going on. That's obviously a distraction for this team, who was only able to muster up a measly 15 yards of running last week. So I like San Diego in this game. I think that Phillip Rivers finds a way to get a victory for this team. It'll be interesting to see, though. Miami can create pressure off the edges with Cameron Wake in particularly, and we've seen that a couple weeks ago against Andy Dalton. We know that quarterback Phillip Rivers for the Chargers is not in particularly a mobile quarterback, and if pass protection isn't there, it could spell trouble for San Diego. They're a team who becomes one-dimensional a lot of times without an effective running game. But overall, when I take a look at this thing, Ryan Tannehill has been very inconsistent. Again, they're without 2 starting offensive linemen, especially if the running game isn't there. We haven't seen Mike Wallace been able to do much, so I expect for San Diego to find a way to win this game in Miami. I'm going to take the Chargers 27-20. Next, we have the San Francisco 49ers at the New Orleans Saints. Big-time matchup here. Big-time playoff implications for the NFC as well as home field advantage. If the 49ers have any hopes at home field advantage, they need to win this game. They come in at 6-3. The Saints are 7-2. We know that Seattle is 9-1. If the 49ers lose this game, that'll put them 3 games behind Seattle in the loss column and pretty much put them in a position where home field and a division crown will not, they would not have a chance to get. We know that last year San Francisco was able to go into New Orleans and get a big-time victory, but the 49ers were much more healthy on offense. Colin Kaepernick has struggled lately. A lot of his struggles are attributed to the lack of weapons that he has in the pass game and his receivers not being able to get separation. So I expect for a lot of Frank Gore in this game. I really believe that Frank Gore is the key to winning this game. The 49ers have to find a way to play ball control and be effective on the ground and really pound the Saints defense and make them pay, with long drives, because you don't want to get stuck with Drew Brees and his ball, with the ball in his hands time after time. We just seen the Saints put up 40 first downs last week against Dallas. We know the Superdome is one of the most difficult places to play in the NFL. Drew Brees and that offense really get it going on at home and light that scoreboard up. So the 49ers defense would definitely have to be on top of their game. Guys like Aldon Smith, Justin Smith, Ahmad Brooks, they have to find different ways to get pressure. And we know that Sean Payton's one of the best play callers. So this is really a battle of the X's and O's. I'm really excited and can't wait to see how this game plays out. I'm still going to take New Orleans at home, 30-21. I think that Drew Brees has just too many weapons in his arsenal outside of Marcus Colston, Jimmy Graham, Darren Sproles. They got the running game going last week with Pierre Thomas and Mark Ingram. And then rookie Kenny Stills is doing a great job on the deep ball. And I just think it's a little, the Saints have a little bit better of a squad, especially with the defense being improved, to give San Fran too many problems and trouble, especially if they can get the 49ers down early and force Colin Kaepernick having to pass the ball a lot. All right, it's the NFL Exporter. We'll take a quick break and be right back to wrap up the rest of the games from Week 11 in the NFL.